50 Cent received a grave photo and responded with a meme. Then he deleted his posts. Then whispers started circulating that DJ Akademiks had access to private audio, and that audio might include something King Harris never meant for the public to hear. If that's true, everything the internet watched unfold looks completely different. Because publicly, King stood firm. He posted the headstone, he doubled down. He told the world he wasn't taking anything back. But hip-hop has always had two layers: what trends online and what actually happens on the phone. And the gap between those two layers is exactly what makes this situation more interesting than a standard rap beef. To understand why that private audio angle matters so much, you have to understand what preceded it, and how fast a versus disagreement turned into something that touched real grief. Earlier this year, 2A claimed he and 50 had privately discussed doing a versus battle. According to Tip, the plan was simple. He'd throw the challenge publicly, 50 would step up, two catalogs would go hit for hit. When Tip went public with it, 50 didn't confirm. He created distance instead. In hip-hop, silence in response to a public challenge reads like hesitation. Tip didn't let it sit. He said it openly on multiple platforms. That 50 backed out, not because of scheduling, but because he didn't want the smoke. 50 responded by calling T.I. King Rat in the comments. That label isn't trash talk. It questions integrity. It implies cooperation. It's one of the heaviest things you can attach to a name in this culture. T.I. fired back immediately, hinting he had paperwork of his own. Snitch allegations started flying both ways. Two veterans, neither built to stand down. At that point, it was still contained, competitive, personal, but still within the usual boundaries. Then, 50 posted a photo of Tiny Harris. Unflattering. Pointed caption warning T.I. to keep his name out of his mouth. One post, and suddenly a spouse who had said nothing publicly about any of this was front and center in a war she didn't start. 50 understands psychology better than most. He knows men will absorb personal insults before they absorb attacks on their household. The tiny post wasn't random trolling. It was a calculated trigger. And it worked. Just not on T.I. It worked on King. The second King Harris saw his mother trending for the wrong reasons, he went live. No strategy, no consultation, just raw, unfiltered reaction in real time. He fired directly at 50. He referenced past legal history. He posted old court images. Then he went further. He posted an image of 50's mother's headstone, told him to dig her up, said everything he felt without pausing to consider what he was actually touching. 50's mother, Sabrina Jackson, died when he was 8 years old, a case ruled a suspected homicide that was never solved. He has spoken publicly about how that loss shaped his entire childhood and hardened everything about how he moves through the world. When King posted that image, he wasn't just firing back in a rap feud, he was pressing on the deepest wound in 50's origin story. The internet froze. Some viewers called King reckless. Others saw a son defending his mother without fear. Either way, the clip spread instantly. And King didn't stop there. He reposted what he claimed were legal documents suggesting 50 had cooperated with federal authorities in a past case. Verified or not, the optics exploded. Blogs ran with it. Reaction channels dissected every page. Now everyone was watching to see what 50 would do next. He posted a meme, Pepe the Frog, caption, LOL. That was it. No paragraph, no diss track teaser, no rage, just a cartoon in 3 letters. If you don't understand 50's history, that looks like indifference. If you do, it looks like something more calculated. For over 2 decades, his most effective weapon hasn't been aggression. It's control. When he went at Ja Rule, when he clashed with Rick Ross, the pattern was always the same. He makes the other side look emotional, he looks unbothered. By responding with a meme, he flipped the perception entirely. King had posted a grave photo in visible anger. 50 responded like he was watching something mildly amusing. One side looked rattled, the other looked untouched. In public battles, the calm person usually wins the narrative, but then something happened that didn't fit the pattern. 50 deleted his posts. Not 1 or 2. Multiple posts connected to T.I. and King quietly disappeared from his Instagram with no explanation, no final word, no dramatic exit caption. Just gone. For a man who stretched beef with J. Rule for years, who doubled down on Rick Ross until Ross had no option but to change the conversation, who kept pressure on Floyd Mayweather long after most people moved on. This was not normal behavior. So why did he clean up mid-fight? The internet immediately went into speculation mode. Legal pressure, someone made a call, strategic recalculation before a bigger move. That's when DJ Akademiks entered the conversation. Akademiks isn't just a blogger. He's broken stories mid-beef before. He has relationships inside camps that most people don't have access to. When he started hinting that private audio existed involving King Harris, people paid attention. The claim circulating was that King may have apologized behind the scenes. Now pause on that for a second. Publicly, King looked unmovable. He posted the headstone. He doubled down on everything. He told the world he stood on what he said. There was no public-facing regret anywhere on his timeline. But there's a difference between what you perform online and what happens when the live stream ends, the phones start ringing, and the people closest to you start asking whether you understand what you just did. At 21, emotion moves faster than consequence, especially when your mother is being humiliated in front of millions. But there's a moment, usually somewhere after the adrenaline drops, when the actual weight of what was said lands differently. 50 has spoken openly about his mother's death, about how losing her at 8 years old shaped the hardness people see in him, about how every setback since has carried extra weight because she wasn't there. That trauma isn't content. It's the foundation of who he became. If King processed that after the live stream ended, it's not hard to imagine a conversation happening. Not publicly, not on Instagram, man to man, or through mutual contacts, or through T.I. stepping in as the adult in the room. And if that conversation happened, 50 deleting his posts starts making complete sense. When the person who just went at your deepest wound privately acknowledges it went too far, you don't respond with another meme. You clear the field, you let the smoke settle. Because continuing to escalate after that moment would shift the optics in a direction that doesn't benefit anyone. Now, no verified audio has surfaced publicly. No confirmed statement has been released. Everything in this layer of the story lives in the space between rumor and reality. And that's exactly what makes it worth paying attention to. Because if the audio is real and it ever surfaces, the public narrative flips completely. King goes from someone who stood firm to someone who performed confidence online while handling things differently in private. That's not necessarily weakness. That's what maturity actually looks like sometimes. Recognizing that touching someone's deceased mother isn't a talking point, it's a human being's actual grief. But if no audio exists and King truly never walked anything back, then 50 choosing not to escalate after a grave photo is equally interesting. Because historically, that is not his move. The fact that he went quiet after the meme, no diss track, no campaign, no multi-week pressure operation need to suggest someone or something shifted the calculation behind the scenes. Either way, what didn't happen after the grave post tells you more than what did. The internet watched the explosion. The grave photo, the meme, the deleted posts. It had all the elements of a classic hip-hop war going fully nuclear. And then it just stopped. No clean resolution, no handshake, no public statement from either side. Just a stillness that replaced the noise. In a culture where beefs drag on for years because neither side wants to be seen as the one who blinked, that stillness means something. T.I. still has "Kill the King" coming. King is still building his name. 50 is still running multiple business operations while staying at the center of every major conversation in hip-hop. All three of them had something to gain from the attention. All three of them also had something to lose from letting it go further. And maybe that's the real story underneath all of the footage and memes and alleged paperwork. Not the explosion, the phone calls after it. Instagram shows you the war. It doesn't show you what happens when the cameras go off and someone says, "This went too far." And sometimes, that quiet moment after the chaos is where the real story actually lives.